Welcome to Fulham Fix. How you doing, Felix? You all good?
I'm very good, Ivan. I'm excited because this week's a really big character in the history of Fulham Football Club. A really, really big character. We're coming up to next season will be 30 years since the 96-97 promotion Fulham team got out of a bottom flight. You can we talk often on Fix, we get players on, we talk about sliding doors and consequences. And if this doesn't happen, this doesn't happen. But a very strong case can be made that 30 years ago, if Micky Adams doesn't do the job he does at Fulham, when we've been second bottom, when he's been in the side the year previous, none of the last 20 years of Fulham Football Club would have been possible. So
almost certainly.
So for people that are young enough not to remember that and that kind of thing, it's Micky Adams. This is a really important / enjoyable history lesson for you on one of the real Fulham greats that everyone needs to know.
And I think what's really nice as well is it really is, for me and you, Felix, our era. I mean, this is we started getting into football. Like my first game was, I believe, Gillingham at home.
Yeah.
I remember the chants of the Adams family, and I remember thinking at the time, that first year or two, wow, following a football club's easy. We just keep winning and winning and getting promoted. But obviously that way, and Micky Adams just made it feel that way.
Yeah. It's interesting because a lot of people are age. This was the first sort of season, and there is a kind of generation gap with Fulham because in the early 90s and stuff, it got to a stage where so few people were coming that we did lose like almost a big chunk of like decades worth of supporters on that age group.
Yeah.
So it is quite interesting period. So there's lots of people like me and you. I think Jeff as well. First game at Fulham, it's like you. His family was Fulham fans. Came in '96. So there's a lot of tie-ins there. But we should just go straight to the interview, shouldn't we? Because we talk about so much stuff with Fulham with Micky Adams, and he's still obviously got a lot of love for the club. And I just felt at pains to express to him how valuable the job he did. And I know that as we'll get into, lots of Fulham fans write him letters and tell him this sort of stuff all the time, and definitely did when he was leaving.
Micky, thank you so much for joining us on Fulham Fix. First up, is this the first time you've been back since the Forever Fulham Award? Was that? I think we were trying to work it out. I think about 3 years ago now.
No, I actually came to a game this season in my role as a Premier League matchday delegate.
Right.
Basically, I look after the referees and assess them, which you can imagine.
That's a tough job, right? Yeah.
That's a tough gig.
Yeah.
But it was the Liverpool game.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, which was delayed because of an incident in the crowd. So,
that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that was the.
And were you happy with the referees that day? Dare I ask?
I don't think there was much.
There wasn't too much, was there? It's pretty.
Was it a Fulham win? I can't remember.
Liverpool, I can't imagine.
Go on, Jeff.
Reed.
Harrison Reed. It was 2-2.
Yeah, of course.
One of the greatest goals of all time.
Harrison Reed with his
second touch
with
of the
a
game.
thunderbolt.
Yeah,
late on.
Which I think surprised him more than anyone else in the.
I think it surprised everybody.
It really did. It absolutely did. Yeah. Can we touch a little bit on the Forever Fulham Award, because I think at that point it's one of the first times you sort of stood in front of the Fulham fans, since all the work you did in the 90s, and it was quite overwhelming. I mean, it was lovely having you here, but the response from the fans, how was that for you to hear that?
I can't tell you how emotional it was. I think I've been back to Fulham. I've not actually been on the pitch and thank them for their support of me and of that team. I came back when I was presented with a medal, promotion medal, which was a bit of a farce, to be fair, but we'll not go into that. But actually, acknowledging the crowd was quite emotional for me.
Yeah, it definitely seemed it. And I think we were, if I remember rightly, we were 2 or 3-0 up against was it
Leicester?
Was it Leicester?
Yeah.
And I think you had said, actually, funnily enough, this was one of my teams, and we were actually 3-0 once and came back and won it. I had to cut you off there, I think, at that point.
Really?
You had the crowd on your side. I thought, you don't want to lose them now. You don't want to lose them now. But how is it coming back here now? So
Well, it's different. The stadium looks magnificent as always. It's a great iconic football stadium. One of the old school type now.
Yeah.
probably the last of its generation. But it looks magnificent. Pitch is great. Can't tell you, when I first got my manager's job.
Yeah.
Well, just one quick story about that was I got the manager's job after Ian Brandfoot had stepped down, or was relieved of his duty, either way, whatever you want to call it. But he was renowned for his long ball game, and I wanted to play slightly different, because I think if you're ever going to be a caretaker or a new manager, you've got to try something different, because obviously it wasn't working. 91st in the football pyramid told you that we were in trouble. But I said to the groundsman before the game, I said, hey, let's keep an eye on, this is on the Monday, keep an eye on the weather. If you feel it's going to be a little bit sunny or a little bit dry, would you mind saturating it with water before the game? And because I want to change the style, I want to get the ball down and play and pass, and get the players enjoying having the football at their feet, And he said, yeah, Mickey, no problem. Well, on the Saturday, I turned up at the game and I was horrified. He'd actually verti-drained the pitch. Okay. So he put big holes into the pitch and pulled out the thing to make it absolutely as dry as a bone.
Oh,
but bobbly. But he was telling me, this is my pitch. I'll do what I will do what I want.
Wow.
You managers come and go, but this is how it's going to be.
Oh, that's mad.
Yeah,
And
that's the truth. But it wasn't the only thing around that time, because the club was in decline.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And people were sticking their head below the parapet. They didn't want to stick it above it in case it got shot off. So it was a strange time. It's just one of the things that I had to deal with, trying to persuade him that, what I was trying to do was for the best of everybody.
And how do you then react to something like that as manager? Because obviously this is you've come from being a player, now player manager. This is quite new to you, then, having this sort of confrontation, I suppose. So what do you do at this point?
Well, you just have to smile and get on with it. And hope that he either comes along for the ride, or there's an opportunity somewhere down the line that we can move him on.
And nudge him out.
Ian Brandfoot, as general manager, said, listen, don't worry about him. It will get sorted in the end.
Wow.
But that's how the football club was at that time. It was a really strange time. I remember the day I was announced as manager, we'd actually opened our stadium up to a pundit on our pitch criticising my appointment as the manager.
Really?
Live on TV.
I mean, that wouldn't wash now, would it? I mean, if you're in the press at that point...
We've opened up our gates for him to come on to criticise the board of directors for appointing me.
Wow.
Jeez.
There was another group called Out. I don't know whether anybody's ever told this story, but they used to hire an executive box, and they were called Out. And whoever the manager was at that time, they wanted him out.
Okay.
And it all started with... And
they got their niche, haven't they?
I beg your pardon for this, but it all started with Alan Dix.
Yeah.
Right.
And they thought it was funny.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we can... Yeah.
So,
okay.
and the groundsman was part of all that.
Right,
so, there was a lot of people that didn't necessarily want me as manager.
So you were fighting against the culture of the club internally.
The culture of the club, yeah.
Yeah. And had you envisaged, were you just happened to be the right person at the right time because you were in the squad and you felt like a senior player? Had you imagined becoming a manager? Was that part of your thought process about where your career was leading, or was it just because the club was in that position?
Well, I certainly wanted to be a coach.
Right.
Being a manager hadn't crossed my mind at that stage, but to persuade me to come to the football club, because the year before I'd been playing Premier League football.
Yeah.
And then the last 10 games of the season before I joined Fulham, I went to Stoke City in the Championship, fighting for promotion. And then Ian Brandfoot said, hey, come along to Fulham. From a football perspective, didn't appeal, but what he said to me was, I'll teach you the ropes. I'll, if you want to be a coach, if you have aspirations to be a manager at a later stage, then I can teach you the ropes. So I said to him, well, yeah, that's fine. We'd agreed terms, but I wanted to be in the manager's office rather than in the dressing room with the players.
Yeah.
So if we're going to do this, I want to do it all in.
Yeah.
And I can't.
So you did
can't
join
tell
with
it.
that in mind, with that learning. Learning.
Yeah,
that
but
you
as a
wouldn't have done
coach-
it as a player. I think just primarily as a player, you probably wouldn't.
As a player, it wasn't too appealing.
No, well, definitely not. I think. What were we at? Was it 91st?
91st.
Yeah, in the league.
Well,
when
you come in, you sort of steady the ship in that first season, 95 and 6. I think we finished 17th. But what eventually happens is that Gillingham get promoted under Tony Pulis, and they celebrate on our pitch. So before we chat about that, Rob Scott came on this show a year ago, maybe.
Yeah, a year or two ago.
And he talks
Has he
about.
still got his long throw?
No.
You can find out for yourself when we play this clip now, Mickey.
We're not. I've got to tell you, we only signed him because he had a long throw.
Is it really?
Well,
I was a generation ahead of all these new Premier League managers.
Right, yeah.
We did have a long throw, and it was Rob Scott.
we're going to regret that when you see how nice he was about you here.
No, he was a decent footballer with a long throw.
A long throw is a bonus, isn't it?
I can remember we played Gillingham here the last game of that season where we'd stayed up and Gillingham got promoted under Tony Pulis.
Right, wow.
And they celebrated on the pitch,
Yeah.
proper celebrated.
Yeah.
And we were stood there going,
And there's that rivalry.
yeah. So I can remember training the pre-season up at Epsom Downs, running our balls off as usual with Mickey. And at the end of the running session, he said, right, everybody lay down on the grass. And this is like sports science and at its best now. And he's like, right, I want you to lay down and close your eyes and think about what happened at our ground, Craven Cottage, the scenes that Gillingham, I've got shivers now, to be fair, thinking about it. What gets you a bit emotional, to be honest. What they did.
Yeah.
And I can distinctly remember that visualization of them getting promoted. And he went, that'll be us at the end. And this is no, by the way. He said, that will be us.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be stronger, fitter, more athletic than other teams in this league. We might not be better, but we will be all of those things.
Yeah.
And we were.
True.
How is it hearing that?
Did you remember that moment?
I tell you, Tony Pulis and Gillingham had a lot to play, a big part to play in our promotion, really, because one, I looked at how his team set up, the personnel, and it was simple. The fact is that Gillingham came to Craven Cottage that day, celebrating with 6,000 fans on our pitch.
Yeah.
7 6-footers in the team, physically strong, ran, and we couldn't cope with it.
Yeah.
And win the league. So, yeah, I copied the style, and it's lasted throughout the my football managerial career. Is that if you haven't got a minimum of 6 6-footers in your team, you're going to get done from a set piece somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you have got 6 6-footers, then you're going to be a threat to the opposition from set pieces. Yeah. So that combined, as I said, I used to go scouting all round the M25 perimeter, really, but Gillingham was not too far away, and I managed to get Carpenter, Watson, and Freeman.
For 50 grand?
For under, just about £50,000. I persuaded Bill Muddyman at the time, great guy, by the way, and Fulham fans have a lot to be thankful for him and his son Andy.
It's hard to think now, but that was actually a lot of money at that time for Fulham. That was actually, you persuaded to get quite a lot of money out of the board, 50 grand for 3 players.
All 3 went to tribunal.
Right.
So he was sat there thinking, oh no, if they say that these players, as Gillingham would, Tony was in the tribunal saying that these boys were worth £100,000 each. Why,
Yeah.
And what Fulham have offered is a disgrace. Our answer to that was, well, they're not even in your first team, so they can't be that good because they're not even playing in your first team. But we managed to do that, and a few more additions. We assembled a squad that was very, very competitive. If you wanted to fight them, they'd have a go at that. If you wanted to play them at football, we could play, and didn't really get the credit for it. Yeah. And a combination of everything. We talked about a long throw. Rob, he had more than a long throw. He was quick as well. all that combination pins the philosophy of Gillingham a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, we got promotion, and I remember being up in Epsom Downs. Wasn't the first time they went up there, by the way.
Yeah, so you're running them round Epsom Downs. Is that what the deal was? Like, because they all talk about how hard they were worked.
We've heard that. Yeah.
There's a lot of myths about me and my methods, but you've got to be fit.
Yeah.
I was fit as a player, but I had to be fit. I was playing I was playing behind Matthew Letizia. When I used to give the ball to Matthew Letizia and make an overlap, he'd either ignore me or cut inside, score a goal, or cut inside and lose it, and then I had to run past him the other way because I knew he wasn't going to fill in for me. So I was fit.
Yeah, you had to make him look good, basically.
Well, he made the team look good on his day. Brilliant footballer. But yeah, we had to be fit. Yeah, and I make no bones about it that on a Tuesday, if we didn't have a midweek game, I used to take them up Epsom Downs. And at the racecourse there, some hills. I was fit as well myself at the time, so I would do it as well. Yeah. But when you get a result on the Saturday and you've been up Epsom Downs on the Tuesday, the players buy into it.
Yeah, of course.
This is working.
Yeah.
So fantastic. Let's go again. It wasn't, oh no, we're going up Epsom Downs. Oh, this is psychologically going to kill us.
Yeah, you're getting adrenaline, yeah.
I used to say to them, hey, you know what other teams are doing on a Tuesday? They're not running up and down hills. Yeah. They're having a five-a-side.
On a slightly different, my only
That's why
10K that I've run in my entire life was at Epsom Downs.
Right.
I had to walk most of it. There's a lot of up and down there. A lot. It killed me.
Yeah.
Terrible. I've never done 10K since.
It wasn't just Ivan doing 10K though in Epsom Downs. It was because I got in touch with Matt Lawrence, who's a friend of mine, big part of that team. Yeah. And look, I said, have you got a question from Micky Adams? He sent me about a 40,000 word essay on how much he loves you, but he's got a few questions from that time. First thing he said, what do you remember about pre-season trips to Ireland? Yeah. He thinks he's saying to, I don't know if you pronounce it, Sligo? No. And it would be pretty primitive. Is that what's your memory of that? Was that on before 96, 97?
Let's reverse it slightly again. We used to go to a place called Ballygar.
Right.
But that was set up by Paul Kenny. Yeah. Who was the GMB sponsor.
Oh, okay.
So shirt sponsor, trip sponsor, when we needed stuff done in the cottage. He'd get the plumbers in and whatever. But Paul was... and his wife Pat were fantastic supporters, great supporters of Fulham FC, and at the time we really needed them. So shirt sponsor, but he took myself and Ian to a place called Ballygar in Ireland, which I have to tell you was in the middle of nowhere. There's the only distractions is the distractions in the village. 7 pubs on one side of the road, 7 pubs on the other.
Oh, for God's sake!
So yeah,
and he sponsored that. He'd come along with us. Boys, today we're eating in this pub. You're not allowed to go into any other pub apart from this one tonight because they've sponsored it tonight.
Okay. All right, nice.
So for the week or 10 days, we'd managed to get through the 10 of the pubs anyway, and shared out the money. Right. And it was his way of giving a little bit back to the village. Yeah. But what was interesting was that we only had there was an 8-room motel there. So obviously I've got one, Corky's got one, so that leaves 6.
Okay. How many players?
Squad of 20.
Yeah.
So. Well, they were sleeping free to a bed.
No. So the 4 senior players were in the hotel. Okay. The rest of them were scattered around the villages in digs.
Oh, okay.
And we were okay. But I'll tell you one story from Ballygar, which is quite funny, really. At the time, it was irritating me, but it was funny. Was that outside one of the pubs, there was a plastic horse, full-size plastic horse with a cart on it. Yeah. And one morning, I get woken up, and somebody's nicked the horse. Well, it's got to be one of our boys.
It's gonna. Let's be honest.
It's got to be a Fulham player.
Yeah. It's not going to be Frank in the butcher,
right,
is it?
It's got to be a player.
get everybody together. We've got to look for this horse. Obviously, they know where it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Are they pretending like they don't though?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
The first time we find it, it's in the church, and it's in the font.
Okay.
So it's
being
like
baptised, is it?
drinking in
Okay.
the font.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
The second time we find it, it's on the GAA pitch, in the middle of the pitch.
Okay.
The third time we find it, I can't actually get out of my room because it's stuck up the stairs of the hotel.
Yeah. Okay.
So, boys, this is really funny.
Yeah.
It's not funny anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's just one of the stories.
And who was it? You never found out who it was?
It had to be a Cockerell,
Yeah.
a Freeman.
Yeah, Freeman. I think he's a candidate, isn't it? But you never found out who that
Freeman.
was.
So we never found out actually who it was, but it kept disappearing.
I wonder if they'd ever be.
And it was
invited
heavy
back
as
to the
well.
village,
It was
yeah.
a full-size horse.
So it definitely wasn't just one player. There's a
No.
few of them doing it. Yeah.
But during that time, yeah, we allowed them to have a drink. Yeah, they worked hard, but you know, the team spirit that we created from those trips was so valuable to the setup of the team.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, I took every team there that I ever managed.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Did they all nick the horse, all the teams? or was
The
it
horse disappeared every time we went.
Every
I
single
think it was in
time.
a stable when we.
I wonder if
kept
it's
coming
still
back.
there. Honestly, if anyone has a bit of a, anyone is watching from, what's it called?
Ballygar.
Ballygar. You know, there might even be some Fulham fans.
Well,
Ballygar. If you're watching, is the horse still there?
Yeah.
I wonder if the pubs are all still there.
I've got another
Amazing.
question from Matt Lawrence that he hasn't forgotten times. He says, I have never forgotten Micky Adams taking me and Terry Angus off after 22 minutes of a game at Craven Cottage. I've never been so embarrassed in my life. He and Corky then had a go at me for not banging on their door and getting upset with them. They thought it showed that I didn't care. They couldn't be more wrong. I was just scared of them. Does he remember that?
I don't know. I'm not a scary person, surely, but
Do you remember that, taking Terry Angus and Matt Lawrence off after 22 minutes?
if it's the game, I think it's the game when we've already achieved promotion.
Right.
We're playing Northampton Town
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
and we're going for the title. And what was interesting was Ian Atkins said to me before the game, "Oh, Micky, we're going to line up by the tunnel and welcome you onto the pitch." And I thought that's a strange for him, like, because he's.
Oh, yeah.
And what happened was they lined up. They pretended to line up. As we came out, they went over to the Hammersmith end and warmed up in our end.
Just threw it.
So it was a psychological thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
they were trying to get into our heads.
Yeah.
And my players beat my players. Just decided to warm up in the other half, and I said, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's where we,
That's where. Anyway, cut a long story, really boring. We concede a goal in the first 15 minutes, end up losing the game 1-0. But I do take off Terry and I do take off Matt
Yeah.
because I didn't think they'd started right.
Yeah.
Now, in hindsight, and hindsight's a wonderful thing, and bless me, I was a young manager making lots and lots of mistakes. I can't tell you how many I made. That was certainly one of them. You know, too rash, too hasty. And I guess it was a little bit embarrassing for them. And I was trying to make a point to everybody else. If I had my time again, I wouldn't have done it.
Oh, really?
I wouldn't have done it, no. It was wrong.
I should say that hasn't scarred Matt, because basically the rest of this essay he sent me is about how much he loves you. So
Yeah.
I think he was just chucking
Thanks.
that in there.
Thanks, Matt.
So let's talk about some other characters quickly in that
Yeah.
team. That Robbie Herrera,
Yeah.
Danny Cullip, Mickey Conroy. I mean, there's Morgan, Sean Davis. So where do we start? I guess maybe actually let's start with Sean Davis, because you're the first person who selects a 16-year-old Sean Davis.
Yeah.
And did you have any inkling that he was going to go on to play in the Premier League and be the player that he was? Because he obviously scores the goals that take us up to the Premier League.
And he
Years
becomes
later.
just an absolute hero of Fulham. Every single league represented
Was
Fulham.
it a sense of identifying something about him?
Well, we were trying to promote from within the ranks. The youth system. We the Muddyman family still ploughed money into the youth setup. If you're going to do that, then you need to try and promote somebody through it. Sean was somebody that Alan Cork had first identified, really, because when Alan first came to the football club, he was doing the youth team as well. So until he got the promotion up with me, and he identified Sean as somebody that had real potential. So yeah, I wanted to promote from within if we possibly could, but I've never got sentimental about youth players that are coming through the ranks at football clubs, because they're either good enough or they're not good enough.
Yeah.
You know, and I hadn't known Sean, and I hadn't known him since he was 10 and 11 years old, and you get to meet the family and you know the family, and that's the problem with youth setups in this country, is that they get too emotional. The coaches get too emotionally attached to the players and their family.
Yeah.
The criteria for me has always been, is he good enough or not good enough? And if he's not good enough, then, you know, I don't mind telling them that.
Yeah.
But Sean was somebody, midfield player, full of energy, wanted the ball in tight areas, and went on to have a fantastic career. You know, certainly here. I think he probably played his best football at Craven Cottage.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
he'd say
I
that,
think some of the moves that he had, I think he was at Portsmouth and Spurs.
yeah.
Didn't work out for him. But I think, you know, that emotional attachment back to Craven Cottage was, and bearing in mind he'd had a lot of success here, because he played a very small part in that promotion, but he was in and around the squad training.
Yeah, well, this is what
training
it says,
with the first team.
Exactly.
And if you can survive in that group, then you've done really, really well. And I think that gave him a fantastic grounding for what come in the future for him.
There's a similarity there, isn't there, with the Tigana team, that Sean was saying how hard they worked physically at that point.
Yeah.
They didn't get worked that hard again until that season.
Yeah.
Tigana as well. It's like a similar sort of philosophy in some ways.
I think so, yeah, that fitness, it's certainly the fitness idea, the running, being fitted, being able to go the full 90.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I see a lot of teams now, and I certainly believe they're not fit, and I think it's this mentality that you can't hurt players now, because if you do, you know, they tend to switch off, and they want the manager out, and it's I watch Spurs now, and I know this is not a Spurs podcast, but for me they're not fit.
Yeah,
they're dying in the last 20 minutes of each half.
Yeah,
and it's no surprise that that's when the majority of their goals are going in now. Players have got to buy into whatever philosophy you've got.
Yeah.
But the one philosophy that has stood me in good stead throughout my career was, my teams are going to be fit. Nobody's ever going to label that at me.
Yeah, totally get that.
Yeah.
One person who's famously moaned about training and fitness a lot was Simon Morgan, but he obviously alongside Sean becomes part of that beating heart of Fulham that ties a thread through you all the way up to the team that gets promoted. But the thing I want to talk about you really is that he had his head turned, or we've heard it in like nights, that people want him to leave the football club, and you have to sit down and have that discussion with him. Yeah. What happens there? Do you remember it?
He's key.
Yeah.
He's key to everything that happened that season. Simon, don't forget, he'd probably seen 3 or 4 managers come and go, all saying the same thing. That we're going to turn this football club around. It's a ship. It's going to be a slow turn.
Yeah.
And they'd been patient. He was he shouldn't have been playing at that level. He was good enough to make that step further forward. But I needed him around, and when I came in, he'd heard it all. He'd heard it all. And he didn't like the running. But I brought some characters into the football club that he could associate with, that wouldn't mind going out for a sneaky pint somewhere with him. And then we started getting wins. But I remember we won our first game here. We went up to Hartlepool away, lost 1-0. And I had to sit on the back of the coach with him. I said, Sam, I need a word with you. I really need you as captain to buy into what I'm trying to do. Because if I haven't got you and as that leader in the dressing room, then the rest of them are not going to follow me. So please stay with it. And I believe, he always denies it, but I believe that Gillingham had tapped him up.
Oh, no way.
But I'd not heard anything official.
Right.
And he was in 2 minds whether he should go, whether he should stay.
Well, obviously, they're freshly promoted as well, so it's
So luckily for me, he decided to stay, and he got his promotion. He got other promotions at the football club, which he deserved.
Yeah,
he was fantastic.
And goes on to be such a
and then I take him to Brighton.
Yes,
of course.
You know, and the only player that I said to the doctor, I don't care whether he's got one leg shorter than the other. This boy is passing his medical and he's signing for the football club.
Yeah.
And the doc looked at him and said, "Oh, you've passed your medical."
Really? That is extraordinary.
Yeah.
Well, you just wanted him there so bad.
I just needed him there.
Yeah.
And he went on to have another promotion.
Yeah, fantastic. So we took loads of Fulham players there from Brighton, didn't you?
Oh,
who else?
Easy choice.
There's Cullip goes there. And
Cullip, Freeman, Watson.
Yeah, brilliant.
Bozzy. Paul
yeah.
Brooker.
Yeah,
another one that had come through. Another one that had come through the ranks. By the way.
Paul Brooker, fantastic. Yeah.
It's funny as well. Looking just touching on that quickly, because you know Fulham and Brighton were both in very, very similar positions before you got involved, really. And so there's something in that, the similarities of you. Do you feel like you kick-started something? You look at us now. You know, we're both again almost identical in the Premier League. That kind of sitting sort of 10th, 9th, that sort of thing.
So true, yeah.
Do you feel that, I mean, it's easy for us to sit here and say it, but do you feel a bit of responsibility, a bit of pride in the fact that you're able to take these teams on the precipice and kickstart something?
Well, before you answer, Mickey, I'll just quickly say that there's a common thread that lots of Fulham fans from that time that all believe that if you haven't had the season in 96, 97, there's no way that the club gets the investment and then moves through it. And I think that's probably the same as Brighton, really, in terms of starting that thing there.
Well, Brighton was a tough gig because we were playing at Gillingham. Brighton playing at Gillingham, that tells its own story. So, I guess I had a reputation once I'd achieved promotion at Fulham as a bit of a, firefighter. But you can only do that so many times. Eventually it bites you on the backside. But Fulham fans, wherever I go, if they're, they don't often recognise me, to be fair. But there's been a lot of years and a lot of managers have come and gone at Craven Cottage. But I'm proud of what I achieved here.
Yes.
It was sad the way it ended. I was disappointed the way it ended.
Sure.
There was a lot of media hype about it that upset me a little bit.
Sure.
But all things come to an end. And when you look back 30 odd years now as it was, it's just football.
Yeah,
I get that,
It's
but I
just
think,
football.
but I suppose how do you turn it around? What do you say to yourself in that moment? Because it is hard. You've just got us promoted. You've done with this squad. You've in hindsight you've kick-started something. You've done something really remarkable. How do you then turn around after being told?
Can I just quickly say how Fulham fans felt about that?
Yeah,
I've got a message
absolutely
from my mate John Turner, who's 15, 20 years older than me, but he was around the time, and he said he's never done this before, but he wrote you a letter after that season, after you move on, is expressing his hurt at the way you've been treated and thanked you for saving his team and being so dignified. And he remembers that you wrote back to him.
I tried to.
Did you get messages from Fulham fans like?
I used to get post. Yeah. Bearing in mind I lived in Southampton at the time.
Yeah.
Nobody knew where I was, but
So
it was
people
the
found you
Micky Adams somewhere in Southampton. I used to get,
Eventually got to you.
but I always had this thing that if anybody ever wrote to me as a manager, that I would always write back personally.
Amazing.
And,
So it would come through your door.
So just come through the door, and but
Did you get a lot of messages like that from Fulham fans at the time?
Fulham fans were distraught at the time.
Yeah.
I believe so. And as I said, we can, as a manager, sometimes you can be quite bitter about the way things happen. But you've got this billionaire who's coming to the football club. He wants to get from A to B as quickly as he can. I just signed a 5-year contract as well, by the way, and told by Bill
really?
Muddyman at the training ground that, I would be the next Alex Ferguson of Fulham.
Yeah.
And then 4 months later, he's the man that calls me. He calls myself, Andy, and Branfoot at separate times and said, "Oh, I need to speak to you in my office." I ring Ian up and I say, "What's the script there?" And he said, "Well, 2 things. He's either gonna back you or he's gonna sack you, one or the other."
Okay.
But you've got Kevin and Ray sat in the stand for games, for probably 5 or 6 games, and denying that they don't want the job, not interested in the job.
Not
I mean, come on,
nice,
we're not. I wasn't stupid.
What a test for you as a young manager as well, having that happening.
It was a test that I wouldn't say I failed.
No, well, you definitely
But
didn't
on a daily basis, we were getting linked with all sorts of footballers. Ian Rush at one stage, and the new the new media guy who had been appointed by the new owner was coming into me and, you haven't told me about this play. I said, I don't know anything about it.
Right,
I didn't genuinely.
It's such a mad difference from the club that you joined and taken charge
crazy.
of in such a short period of time.
Crazy.
It's unbelievable.
Adidas kit.
Yes, of course. Adidas, that was a big deal, wasn't it?
Why have I not handed out the Adidas kit? We didn't even have a kit man. We didn't have a kit man.
Oh my God.
We were taking our kit home and washing it.
Really?
That was the staff.
That 96, 97 team was doing that.
We were washing our own kit, and and then we got Adidas and linked with players. And anyway, I got the call, and I go to the offices, and Andy and Bill Muddyman were there, and they're distraught. They're the ones that tied me down to a 5-year contract, sacked me, paid me up full. In full, I didn't have to fight anything. But the media once again, the propaganda that was coming through from Fulham was that, we've sacked him, but we've paid him his 4.5-year contract. It's worth £1 million, and he'll be okay. But I've got to tell you now, it wasn't worth anywhere near £1 million. It was a nice payoff, but. It dented my confidence for a long time.
Did it really?
It did, yeah.
Because you've gone.
I didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah. But it's interesting because when I think about because the way that all Fulham fans think of you is unlike most managers in that you've left with it completely unblemished. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Feeling about it.
Yeah.
So in some ways,
how many managers can leave a football club with the football club fans feeling like they do?
Exactly.
And that makes me proud.
Yeah.
That makes me proud because normally when you get bounced out of a football club by supporters,
people are cheering. People are happy.
They're happy, they're cheering, they're throwing eggs at your car.
No.
Well,
very rare.
I mean,
that
John Turner said to me that people obviously used to carry around letters, but David Bowie had written to him. He said that letter from Micky was that to him, and that Micky Adams is his thin white Duke, and that just sums up better than any other Fulham fan that the strength of feeling towards you.
Listen, football.
It's football.
Only as you get more experienced in the game is that if a football club's ever going to sack a manager, if they've not got a succession plan in place, then they're not doing their job. How many times do you see football clubs? I tell you what, there's one around the corner. They've sacked a manager, they've put a caretaker manager in, they haven't got a clue who's the next manager going to be.
Yeah.
It's not the way you run football clubs. If you're going to run football clubs, you need a succession plan.
Yeah.
They had one. They had Kevin Keegan.
Massive respect for not naming that on this beloved podcast. We didn't want to hear their name there.
I bet Fulham fans won't forgive us if we don't talk about Carlisle, the Macquarie goal, things like that. What's your, because that's, we still sing about that. Rodney Macquarie put the ball quickly on Macquarie. Was he already at the club, Macquarie?
Well, Rodney was here. He was signed by Ian Branfoot.
Right, yeah.
Joe Macquarie, Rodney's dad, runs Dungannon Swifts in Northern Ireland. Irish boy, was at Liverpool. He came in with Ian Branfoot, one of his early signings. Little midfield player, could handle the ball. And we went up to Carlisle. I've got to tell you, it was a windy, rainy, horrible day. I hadn't picked the side then. I was umming and ahhing about certain things in midfield. And I took a punt on him. I'll tell you what it was as well. It's stupid. This is how my mind works sometimes, is that we went out for a walk. It was really cold, wet, horrible. All the players were there, all wrapped up. And he came out in a T-shirt and, and I thought, that'll do me.
What Macquarie did?
Yeah.
Nice.
Little Rodney.
He was carrying a massive horse with him.
Found this.
I thought, I'm picking that boy today.
Bring the horse.
And he was in the midfield against Warren Aspinall and Steve Haywood, who actually signed and came here.
Yeah.
And
Oh, no
we got the win 2-1, and
Just had a feeling about it.
I just had a feeling about him.
Yeah.
And I can remember that ball comes across too many, strikes it, and it's top corner.
Yeah.
Fulham fans behind the goal, and they were there in their thousands again.
Yeah, folklore. That's Fulham folklore, man.
You know, he'll go down in the annals of history, I think.
Without
and
a
like you
doubt.
say, I mean, if they're still singing a song about him now,
Still are.
and half these people, these youngsters, wouldn't even know who he is.
No,
A bit of commentary graces this podcast, the intro to this
Yeah,
podcast.
Macquarie.
He deserves it. You know, he's a great kid.
And then we get. Oh no! Quickly, let's talk about on the way, because there's a story about on the way. Okay, two things. Firstly, Firstly, you used to threaten the players with if they lost, they'd be listening to Nat King Cole for the entire journey home. Were you a fan of Nat King Cole?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. It's one of my wife's favourites.
And it's blaming her. And the players wouldn't want to listen to Nat King
mate,
Cole.
it was that time when there was one screen at the front of the bus, or there was the radio, or the cassette player.
Sure.
If we go up here, or if we go down to Plymouth and we lose, I'm not sitting on a coach with you lot watching some stupid film.
Yeah.
You're going to be listening to the music I want.
Yeah, specifically his Christmas album.
And occasionally,
no matter the time of year. Yeah.
What used to get, if we were on a trip somewhere, Alan would take their cassette out the thing and throw it out the window.
Brilliant. So good.
You know?
Brilliant.
Oh, not listening to that.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
We've lost today.
But when we win at Carlisle, there's a story that we stop off and get booze.
Birmingham.
Well, we had enough booze in us to last us until Birmingham. And then
you pulled off on the way. Do you remember where you stopped at all? Do you remember?
No. But all I remember
we need to
was
stock up.
we had a fun run the next day, Sunday.
Right. Yeah.
At Craven Cottage.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, is this the thing that Sean talks about? We'll have to cut it out if it's not. It's not. It's separate. Okay. Because I remember him talking about a very hungover run, but
Well, it could have been.
It could have been. Yeah. I remember.
Could have been. But
having a skim.
Yeah, and then we've got to go to Mansfield on the Tuesday.
Right. Yeah. And we win. We get promoted properly there. Is that?
Yeah. We get a 0-0 draw.
Yeah. We get
thousands of Fulham fans everywhere, and that was the day that Bill Muddyman, after the game, told me that a new investor was coming into the football club.
Right. Yeah.
Day.
Sit tight.
It's a lot to go on, isn't it?
Yeah. So promotion. New
Crazy
investor.
day for you.
Yeah.
When you hear when you hear about new investment, do you think? What do you think? You think surely job's safe, or straight away you question marks and?
No, as I said, they were still talking to me about a new contract, and
So yeah, it was
being
out of the
there.
blue for you.
I've never had any experience of being sacked as a manager before. You have to take their word, that it's going to be good for the football club. It had to be good for the football club. Two things that happened that year was that we got we bought the lease back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we got promoted, which obviously then attracts a new investor.
Sure. Yeah.
And then everything after that tells you that it could be a problem for you.
One quirk of history, a little bit of that and circumstances. Jimmy Hill is kind of the face of Fulham Football Club to a degree, which I want to ask you about, Jimmy. But he's invented he's
got behind
he's
this rule,
pushed
hasn't he?
through
Yeah.
this rule that now teams that with the most goals scored rather than goal difference would finish high on the same points, and that's how we don't win the league.
How's our luck?
Yeah, that's the most
well
fun
done,
thing
boss.
ever.
Yeah.
Cheers, Chairman.
That's annoying.
We've got
isn't
the best goal difference.
Yeah.
That to win the league by whatever, but we lose it on goals scored. Cheers,
Nice one.
Cheers, Jimmy. But thanks very much.
His heart was in the right place, I think,
but
he could have delayed it a bit.
But how I transformed the squad as well is down to Jimmy Hill.
Yeah.
Because when I first got the job and we needed points to stay in the league, we got enough points. Then we played somebody at home. I think it could have been a Rochdale. We lose a game on a Tuesday night here. The next night I've got a board meeting on Wednesday, and it's about the retained list. Who you're going to keep? Who you're going to let go? And Jimmy liked a certain type of player. Bless him. And they were all tiny and could pass and get on the ball. But not really how we were going to progress and get promoted. Like
idealistic in some sense. Yeah,
he liked it, a certain type of player. So the next day, he's notoriously late, Jimmy, always turned up half an hour late. So if you started a board meeting, you knew he was going to come in half an hour late, and then you'd have to repeat yourself.
All again, yeah.
Right.
absolute pain.
Yeah.
But anyway, he came in this day. We'd lost on the Tuesday night. This is on the Wednesday morning. Came in like a, bull in a china shop. We're not good enough. We're not big enough. We're not this. We're not that. What are you going to do about it? Okay. Can we... And Bill Muddyman, voice of reason, very calm, great fella, said, Mickey, would you mind just taking us through your retained list? No problem. All these little footballers, other than Robbie Herrera, because I love Robbie. But anyway, him. Oh, Jimmy, oh yeah, like him. Good player, Mickey. Free transfer.
What?
And I see his face change.
Yeah.
Another one. Oh yeah, Mickey, good.
He's awesome.
Yeah. Free transfer. And I give about 11, 12, 13 free transfers out, and he didn't agree with all of them.
Wow.
And at the end I said, boss, you've asked me how I'm going to get promoted. I'm going to clear the decks. I'm going to get a squad that's stronger, more physical, taller, and you're going to have to trust me. Mm. And to be fair to him, he did. He did.
Yeah.
But it cost me lifting a cup.
Yeah. Goal difference. That's amazing.
And the team deserved to win the championship that year.
Yeah,
definitely. And you got manager as well of the season.
I did.
As well.
Yeah.
And did it again with Brighton, which is
I've been fortunate. Yeah.
And the Brighton, because there's a crossover. Am I right in saying you signed Bobby Moore for Brighton?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you see? Because he turned when he eventually played for Fulham. I remember that because I lived in Brighton at the time when he was manager, and he was just a hero around town, Bobby, wasn't he? But he turned into a very different centre forward when he was at Fulham, like sort of by necessity in terms of like he was sort of hold back to goal type sort of.
Yeah.
When he was playing at Brighton, you signed him as a sort of like really exciting.
Well, we used to play 4-3-3, two wide players. Bobby was always good at coming to feet and receiving the ball, but when he used to come to feet, I used to say to the two wide players that I want a threat in behind, so we don't become too predictable. So he understood that. He had a fantastic relationship with Paul Watson down at Brighton. So Paul, could put the ball on a sixpence.
Yeah.
So we had a fantastic relationship. But everybody said to me about Bobby was, he scored goals in the second division, but can he do it in the first? Well, got promoted, he could.
Yeah.
Always, but Championship, he could.
Yeah.
Premier League, he could. And I remember, I've got to tell you this story as well about Fulham, just very, very quickly. Port Vale, we came here in the League Cup Tuesday night. Now, Mark Hughes was the manager of Fulham at the time. He'd come down with Manchester City to at Brighton, and we'd knocked them out of the League Cup.
Yeah.
3 years before. He'd remembered that. I come here with Port Vale, rainy Tuesday night.
Yeah.
I'm thinking he's going to put all his reserves in the team, put all the first team in.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We were 6-0 down in 60 minutes. And I'm thinking,
I was trying to remember
this is going to be 10.
Yeah.
This is going to be 10. Bobby scored a couple of goals that night.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Bobby scored a couple of goals that night against his old manager. Fair enough. We lose the game 6-0. Happy with 6, got to be honest.
Okay, sweet.
But afterwards, I went into the cottage to have a drink with Mark, and he went, I remembered that game.
Yeah, didn't want to see that happen again. Yeah.
So it was payback. It was payback.
That's fascinating.
So that's another memory of Craven Cottage.
So many stories. Yeah. I mean, we could do hours more.
We really. Sorry, again.
Coming.
So obviously now you're out of management. Really, you've got this new role.
Yeah.
Do you miss it? Do you miss that cycle? I mean,
good question.
Not really.
No.
Not really. I listen. I was very, very fortunate. Managed some fantastic football clubs. Got 4 promotions as a manager, head coach. 800 games as a manager. My ambition was to get to 1,000 if I could, but then I got another role. Where we live in Market Harborough, a private school with a football academy asked me to be their technical director, which involved me basically travelling around the world, putting on coaching sessions.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you the places I've been. Some are fantastic, some not quite so good, but Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Kyrgyzstan, China, Russia. I've been everywhere, you name it. And I enjoyed that. I work with the Premier League referees as well, do a bit of agency work. So all in all, I'm still involved in the game. I still get to meet good people in the game. People ask me for advice and help, and I did a little bit of mentoring with Chris Wilder as well when he was in the lower leagues. So I'm still involved in the game without the pressures of having to win a game of football. And I can't tell you that how better you sleep at night when that doesn't happen.
I was going to say, is he asking your other half? Is he a lot nicer now when he's not in management? Would you say? A lot more chilled, a lot more mellow. There we go. That's the main thing in life, really, isn't it? Have that. But
and I think the thing that we want to communicate to you, really, Mick, as we look out at Craven Cottage now, and where we sitting 12th in the Prem at the time of recording, something like that. But like Fulham wouldn't be the club it is now without you.
Thank you.
And people think of you so highly as any manager in that time.
The Adams family.
We just love you, man, and just want to make sure you know that.
That's great.
I know Fulham fans think that way, and so thank you, really.
Well, I love coming back and seeing the old place. Fond memories. I can't tell you. When you gain promotion at any football club, it does hold a little space in your heart because, it's tough. People think it's easy, football management. It's not. Believe you me, it's not. But to get any sort of success, you have to really graft at it. But I want to pay tribute not only to the players of the football club at that time, but to the supporters, because for generations of football supporters, they've had to get back, because the club was in decline. It was going nowhere, and other young supporters wanted to watch Premier League players. So they've done well sticking with the football club, and the people that had the football club and have invested a lot of their money into it deserve a lot of credit as well. But I just played a very, very small part in it.
You played a massive part, but more importantly, we're going to find out who stole that horse. Cheers, Mickey.
Cheers.
Just love that.
Bless you. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure.
Cheers.
Micky Adams there, just, an absolute hero, right? Proper Fulham hero.
So nice to go on a picture of him afterwards, wasn't it? Like, as we walked back to the cottage itself, like we just stood on a picture of Micky Adams, which felt like a moment.
It did feel like a moment, didn't it? I'm glad you felt that too, because I was like, there's a real weight to this. Do you know what I mean?
It was really cool.
Special.
And so we're keeping it 96, 97, or that general era themed this week. Loads of people can get in touch. Thank you so much. We've only been able to get through one per episode of emails about your stories of Fulham Football Club, but they have been fantastic. So thank you, and keep getting them in at fulhamfix@fulhamfc.com. Am I right in saying that, Ivan? I think that's exactly right, isn't it?
Fulhamfix@fulhamfc.com.
Which is what Oz did, and we got Oz into the studio. We teased this story a couple of times this season, but Oz came in person to tell us his story about a member of Micky Adams' playing squad. Oz, we've got you in because what we're really keen on doing in the Fix is like Fulham people and their stories, not just like players, present, past thing, but it's just really lovely to get that stuff from people that have loved Fulham for as long as you have. And I don't know what story you're about to tell.
No.
But Jeff has said we need to get Oz on in person before the Bournemouth game. So we'll just let you have the floor.
Okay.
And give us is it about a Fulham player, or is
it's about my favourite Fulham of all time, and he's still my favourite Fulham player of all time, Terry Angus.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, cue music.
Yeah.
So in 2011, when I was a teacher at Football Primary School in Walthamstow, we have to do class assemblies. It's a bit of PR for the parents, and you have to do a 15, 20-minute assembly. And our topic was on the ancient Greeks.
Okay.
It was a year 5 class, and so it was myths and legends. So you have to sort of think about what you're going to do. The parents turn up in droves. It's in front of the school community as well. So the myths part, I thought of Icarus and his son flew too close to the sun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the children retold that story. So we needed a legend.
Sure.
So,
See where this is going.
So who's my legend? Terry Angus. So at the time, I was also writing for 1F in Fulham on occasion with David
fanzine,
Lloyd.
yeah.
So I just thought, on the off chance, I contacted David and said, look, I'm looking to do an assembly in February 2011. Is there any chance you can put me in contact with Terry Angus? He said, leave it to me, Oz, see what I can do.
Yeah. He's like, Terry, someone else is getting in touch about being Icarus in a school.
Yeah.
Feel free to fob it off.
So
Have you still got that toga, Terry?
it's probably somewhere. But David gave me his number. I phoned him on school. He no doubt thought I was mad.
Yeah.
Who's this Fulham fan phoning me out of the blue? I explained the situation, that I knew David, and I'd like to invite him down to appear in the class assembly as my legend. Okay, so there was a lot of toing and froing, and I was more nervous on the day before the assembly that all the children who had practiced their parts, is Terry coming, what's going to happen if he doesn't make it?
So can I just ask, on the emails, he was fine, agreed. Yeah, it was like, yeah, that sounds great. I'm coming down.
This was
I'll come and do your assembly.
Say no more.
This was mostly on the phone because emails were available, but I had to speak to him in person.
Okay.
So
It's harder to say no in person, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like that. Wow. So he just said, yeah, that
Yeah, he
works.
said, he says, I'm based in Coventry. I'm doing, I believe at the time, youth offending work. If you can get me down, I'm going to have to stay overnight. So he stayed at a hotel not far from me in Chingford, and he phoned me at the dead of night, the day before, fingers crossed, is he coming? Yeah, I'm here, I'm at the hotel, can you pick me up at 7:45 in the morning? So the hotel is literally opposite Walthamstow Dog Stadium. So I went and picked him up in the car, looking out for him. Is that Terry Angus? Oh, there's Terry Angus. You can't really miss him. He's a strapping 6-footer.
Yeah.
So he got in the car. We drove to school. I said, there's no script. You will just be introduced by the children who are the narrators, and you have to come in. Fine. One of the teaching assistants went and found him a toga because it's the ancient Greeks.
Oh, wow. Okay. You actually got him in a toga. So he kept his dignity then.
So on the day, the children rushed in. Is Terry here, sir? Yeah, Terry's here. Don't worry, it's all in hand. So the parents started steaming in at 9:05. My head teacher is looking at me. Is this going to work? Yes, don't worry, Mrs. Houghton. It's all good. The deputy head, Mr. Dodd, it's all good. So they started the assembly, explaining what the story of myths and legends are. And then Terry is brought in by the children, explaining that he is our legend. Okay, and we at the time we had on screen in the hall images of Terry when he was playing. This was before the time that I could use YouTube, when you had lots more clips. So there's photos of Terry playing for Fulham, and he was explaining some stories behind that, and there was a lot of banter between him and the children in the class. Brilliant. And
all wearing entire time toga,
all in his toga.
Toga with GMB on it. I've got pictures.
yeah.
So he
with studs on.
He really played to the audience, and the great thing about it is he stayed in role. He didn't try to take over anything. It was all about the children. It was their assembly.
Oh, brilliant.
And
that's so good.
then at the end, he said his thank yous and stuff. And then initially I thought he was just going to say, well, I've got to get back to Coventry. And I said to him, do you mind staying and seeing, spending time with the class? And he said, fine. And we organised a PE football session for the class, and he stayed.
Nice.
There was no airs or graces about him. He was, I'm here. He'd done training with the kids, signed their autographs. There's a photo of him. We got a special T-shirt with Terry on the front, the Cult Zeros ones that you can get, and he signed that. And he was as good as gold. He stayed until about midday, and then he had to get back to Coventry. But it was just the great thing about that situation, it could only happen with Fulham, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's remarkable.
In the days of, you've got to write and contact clubs. Oh, sorry, we can't help you. If we help you, we've got to help everyone.
Yeah.
If you want to get a player in. But what made it for me is they say never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
And for me, I got to meet my favourite all-time Fulham player of all time, and he was everything I wanted him to be.
Yeah.
There was, and he told me stories about the Micky Adams season and about the promotion and what that was like, going up to Carlisle, having how he man-marked Craig Maskell against Brighton, and from a corner, I believe Terry described it as to take Craig Maskell out, who was digging him, getting in his face. He sort of scraped his boots down his shin just to mobilise him
like a real Greek god.
Yeah, like a real, all the great Greek gods, like Zeus would.
And there was obviously no VAR, but it was listening to those stories, and
fantastic.
It was my favourite season. I know it's great that the club are doing what they're doing now, and we've had the highs and lows, but it was unexpected under Micky Adams, and then that just started the ball rolling with what happened with the investment.
Absolutely,
the following seasons and our journey up the leagues, and
one of the great seasons, one of the great mate. Thank you so
much. That's unbelievable,
sorry.
Genuinely.
We've got a corroborative story from Terry Angus himself. Is that right? Jeff's got one because you've met Terry Angus recently. So Terry Angus was at the Villa game, and Jeff caught up with him, and we've got something we're going to drop in here. This is from Terry Angus's perspective.
I have to laugh because I think, if I remember rightly, he randomly sent a letter in to someone wherever I was working. And I always like to try and reply. And I replied, and then he asked me to do a couple of things. And then I ended up doing an assembly at his school. He dressed me up in toga gear, and we ran this assembly. Honestly, it was excellent. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And the kids were brilliant, and we all bought into it. And then from then, he asked me different favours. And if I can, I will. But, it's people like him who do things for the children and for himself and for the football club. But he's one of those people, like a lot at this football club, especially back in the 90s, who just does things to enhance a young person's life.
Yeah, I mean, in this day and age, you don't often see elite footballers dressed up in togas and going down to school assemblies, things like that. But I suppose that was that era, especially at Fulham, that mid-90s era. There was such a special connect between yourself as the players and the fans, right?
Well, firstly, when you use the term elite, I'll take that. I will take that. Yeah, it's a different world. It's a totally different world. Back in the 90s, mid-90s, and when I was here right up to the end, you could interact. And the interaction was the main thing. We've just had a discussion now about an interaction you and I had when you were younger. It's those sorts of things. But I think football has moved on. It's lost the human touch, unfortunately, and it's become a business. And that business has to pride and look after its commodity. And I think with players now, the elite ones, they are so cocooned in that world where you can't risk them saying the wrong thing, getting treated badly, on the end of abuse, physical and mental abuse. So I think what happens is you end up in a sheltered world. So if we can alter this whole sheltered world and open it up, which I think is difficult because the game is growing.
Mm-hmm. And just finally, a word on that team. I think 96, 97 is a lot of Fulham fans' favourite ever seasons. How do you look back on that period of your life?
Well, you can see from the smile on my face when you started asking that question. I don't care who you could not actually, what's the word I'm looking for? You could not find that again. I couldn't find that again in any team I play for. It was special. It really, really was special. And I think every player in that squad most probably got on with 80% of the other lads. And that's not always the case. There's a few you thought, but the togetherness was unreal. It was built by the management. They built the togetherness because they were hard on us. So we kind of built that togetherness. But we had strong, strong characters who had the mental resilience, and that then manifested into the rest of the squad. And, you know, people like Simon Morgan, you had Glenn Cottrell, you had Nick Cusack, you had Mickey Conroy, who was quiet but did his work. It was those sorts of characters that brought the young ones through, and the young ones brought us through as well. So it honestly, I cannot say what a magical time that was.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Terry.
Pleasure.
Wow.
Okay, so thank you, Terry, and thank you, Oz. That's turned into a real 96, 97 special for every single perspective.
Really has.
Must feel amazing hearing that quickly before we go.
It is. I mean, I used to run the school football team, and our traditional colours were green and white. And the following season, I changed the colours to black and white in recognition of Fulham,
Come
as
on,
you do.
Fulham.
And we done the cup double the following
Yes.
season.
Nice.
So I always would, like with the school and the football, and trying to, even with the girls' football team, try and, you know, that connection with Fulham and the community and the togetherness. And yeah, it's really pleasing to hear that. It's nice when you get recognition, especially as a teacher, with the way education is now, and it's changed quite a lot. But yeah, that was thank you for putting everything together, guys.
Mate, and thank you for making Fulham what it is, man, 'cause it's people like you more than anyone else that does make Fulham, mate. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
3 points today. Come on, Fulham.
I mean, how about that?
Brilliant. Thank you, Oz. I'll be amazed, Ivan, if anyone can top that.
I mean, if you think you can top it,
Yeah.
it's going to take a lot of doing, but if you think you can top it, you got to get in touch. Fulhamfix at fulhamfc.com.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, how are you going to top that? You know, Inamoto turned up to my bar mitzvah in a cowboy outfit.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see where you're going with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you got Steve Finnan to turn up to your Teenage Mutant Ninja Hero Turtles party dressed as Michelangelo.
Yeah, it could be Michael. I feel like he's more of a Raphael sort, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know what gone. Got anything to
Oh,
get inspiration flowing?
Fakunda Sava
Yeah.
turns up to your eyes wide shut party. I mean, you know, why not? I mean, it's you know, the mask and everything. So
that's a bit more adult themed, but yeah, I mean,
adult themed. But we were saying we'll accept adult stories as well. Maybe we do a late night edition.
and can just quickly say, doesn't Terry Angus sound like a really lovely, brilliant guy as well? So thank you to us for bringing that to our attention, and maybe we'll get him as a full guest at some point in the fix. Fulham Fix at fulhamfc.com. Get him in. Until then, see you soon. Come on, Fulham Football Club.